Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the new Gallade with Psycho Cut. This Pokemon is insane. Honestly, getting to a Leaf Blade after just 4 fast moves is absolutely wild, and to a close combat after 5 is even worse. So this Pokemon is now not really top meta. I would not really say it's top meta, but it is definitely a ton of fun to play because you're just going to force those shields all the time. And as you can see by the title and as you can see by the thumbnail, this is going to be the most toxic team ever. And look at this. Just enjoy. Sit back, enjoy. Take this here. Close combat, full HP, opponent's Licky Tongue. Boom! Goodbye. Completely annihilated as the Annihilate is coming back in. And honestly, this team was really fun. Like, definitely something they can run. And I definitely went away positive with it. It's a little bit more trickier this season, I would say, to run Bastion. Bastion has quite a lot of answers in the current meta. So make sure to, be a little bit careful with it. This team also still has some issues as well, for sure. For example, Gligar can be a little bit tricky, but I feel like Gligar kind of went away with all the water types with this new season, so yeah, it's not really the biggest issue. Definitely still a very solid team that I would recommend you to try out. Moving on to the second battle, horrific lead for us. Our say-swap for this team is basically always Gallade. And here we see also kind of why. As they're gonna get out the opponent's Mandibuzz, we can let the move go through. And this is a bad matchup for us. It's a Flying Dark type against our Psychic and Fighting type, but look at the close combat damage against the opponent. Boom, going to two-shot them easily. We can still go for another charge move afterwards. This is going to be able to knock them out, and so we can realign. And after having such a bad lead of the Swampert against our Bastion, having now the realignment is so important, as the Victreebel is going to shred through the opponent here. I decided to use a shield because the Victreebel rather uses the shields than the Bastion, and we will see here as well that this was the right choice, as the opponent is going to have their Annihilate in the back. I will be able to use a shield here again, going to be the Night Slash from the opponent. I am not going to be able to farm down in time, so I'm most likely going to try to catch a Night Slash onto my Bastion. Maybe I would have been able to farm down without the charge move, by the way, so that was a little bit silly by me. But Night Slash is coming through, we can farm them all the way down. We still have a lot of HP, more than the opponent's Swampert for sure, and so we can just smack them all the way down. They cannot really store any energy here, and so this is going to be a very good game as the opponent is gonna go down. Moving on to the next opponent, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have here a Dragonite in the lead, which is going to be great for us. This is a little bit of a trickier thing for our team though. We're going to see that the opponent is going to be able to go for a charge move with the Feraligatr. Not too sure if a Crunch would have knocked me out. This is something that you definitely should look up though, because here we're gonna use basically one shield, and we're gonna lose that shield because of course the Dragonite is going to be a pretty bad matchup for us, and also Dragonite is going to be way trickier than any of the other Dragon type Pokemon, because now our Bastion is going to have to take a superpower. I cannot use a shield, we need a shield for our Gallade, and now we're in a tough spot. Actually, I feel like for this team it's nearly even better to lose lead than win the lead, which is kind of wild, but I feel like it just plays out a little bit better. Here we see the Gallade getting, one Leaf Blade onto the opponent's Lantern, but can we outspeed them to the final Leaf Blade? We only need 4 fast moves all the time, the opponent needs 6 fast moves all the time. Let's see if we can still outspeed them even though they had a shield advantage. This would be really important for us. Let's find out here together. It is going to be not enough. It is just not enough, just very, very unfortunate here, very close though. And yeah, if we would have landed this, we most likely would have won this game. Next opponent, great lead for us. We're going to have the Cresselia, and we're going to see again the Feraligatr swapping in. This was way too fast. It's going to be just a Hydro Cannon, so I'm not even forced to use a shield here. And so we can definitely farm them down. I think a Crunch would have knocked us out though, so definitely, yeah, if they go for a Crunch or for the Ice Beam, you're going to be a little bit in a worse spot. But if you swap out immediately, I think you might be able to just force them to go for the Hydro Cannon, and then you would be in a way, way better spot. Here we're going to have the matchup against Cresselia, which can take a little bit, but I think the opponent is going to swap out quite soon as well, because this is not a great matchup for them at all. For us, for the Bastion matchup here, basically it's always the best to generate as much energy as possible before throwing a move, because you're not really too scared by the opponent. Here the opponent is actually swapping out into a Registeel, which is a smart move, and you're going to see me here doing some interesting stuff as well, I think, because we will see here the close comment coming through. The opponent might let this move go through, maybe, we will find out. They do not, and so at this point I was like, we're gonna go for at least 2 charge moves here. The opponent gonna go for at least 2 charge moves here. This is going to be a little bit tricky because our switch clocks are unaligned, and I don't really want to end up with the Cresselia against our Gallade, so I decided to go for the bait so I can avoid them going for their own charge move first, and this worked out super well, as now the close comment is going to take the knockout, and so Cresselia has nowhere to go anymore as well. We still have the Bastion, it's a little bit faster to go for a Leaf Blade here, because Leaf Blade is going to do a little bit more damage than what the Bastion Stone Edge is going to do here. And so yeah, basically this game is over at this point. The opponent is still trying their best for whatever reason, like it is so clearly over. Yeah, I don't really know why, but it is going to be okay for us. The opponent is going to take a Stone Edge, and so this should be already enough to knock them out, and so we can move on into the next game. Next opponent is going to have another Dragonite in the lead, hopefully this time around a better swap for us. It's going to be the Lickitung, which is actually a little bit worse for us. Here, Lickitung is basically something where we have to use our Bastion again as well. It is fine for our Gallade if we have energy lead, but we don't have an energy lead here. And it's okay for the Victory Bell if we want to go into the 2-shield scenario, but I don't really want to go into 2-shield scenario. So the best for us is just to stay in with our Bastion, which is going to be exactly what we're going to do here right now. The opponent goes for the Power Whip, and I can go for a Stone Edge afterwards, which should hopefully put them into a range where I can knock them out as well. Let's see, it's actually already enough. And so we'll see what's coming in next, and I just swap out immediately, because even if they're gonna go into, yeah, exactly, they have a Lantern in the back, even if they're gonna go back into their Dragonite, I will be able to force some damage or some shields from them, and I'm gonna get the shield here already, and I can even reach another charge move, which is going to be great for me, as it's going to be double resisted, but it is still going to be okay, because we can just get them a little bit lower. We can go into our Bastion now as well. Bastion can just now go for the full farm down. I am forced to use a shield here, I think. Yeah, exactly, because like Superpower would be a little bit too tricky. Like later on maybe they would get too much damage onto my Victory Bell, but like this, the opponent is still going to be forced to throw a charge move here as well. I can go for my own charge move, I can swap out, and so the opponent has nowhere to go and they decide to forfeit. Next opponent, this matchup here, I decided to speed up a little bit further because, yeah, it just took a long time. It's just the first matchup here basically against the Mantine, but like this part already took like so long from the gameplay. I was like, yeah, okay, we don't really have to talk about them throwing Bubble Beam the entire time and me just farming them all the way down. So here, that's 3 times speed instead of 1.8 times speed, so hopefully this is going to be a little bit more enjoyable like this, as well as we can just go for the full smackdown. They dropped our attack to -4 now, which is kind of funny, but yeah, they're just gonna go for it. I don't really care too much. I can swap out now. And now we're gonna take a look here more into the more interesting stuff of this battle. We're going to see that I swapped out into my Gallade just to clear my debuffs, and we see also that the opponent went into their Charger Bug. And Charger Bug is a tricky Pokemon for Gallade because it's going to be able to resist all of our moves, which is going to be a little bit of an annoying thing for us. But we can still go for a Leaf Blade here. This Leaf Blade is going to be able to connect and do a ton of damage, and so they're forced to still go for a Charge move, and Charger Bug is basically down with that as well, as we can now go into our Victory Bell, trying to get maybe an Acid Spray onto the opponent against whatever they have in the back, basically. Let's see what they're going to have here. It's going to be a Lickitung, and it's still going to be a little bit of a tough matchup, but let's see what we can do here. The opponent decides to go ahead and go for a Body Slam early, which does make sense. We can still try to go for a Leaf Blade here instead, because I want to get either guaranteed damage here or, yeah, the shield. We're gonna get the shield from the opponent, and now I can swap out into my Bastion. We have so much energy here, and I think it's going to be the best play that we could have done here. Body Slam is going to do basically no damage, and we can just reach those 2 Stone Edges really fast. First Stone Edge coming through, and yeah, we don't even need the second one. We can just farm them all the way down and go for one now against the Charger Bug to win this game. Good game there to the opponent, and we can move on to the next opponent now. Next on, we're going to have a great lead of Charger Bug in the lead, which is going to be amazing. But here is something that I kind of want to talk about as well for this one. Bastion really struggles against the buffed Awkward Tail from Dragonair. Like, this does like so much more damage now. Like, it is mad. I feel like it literally just completely shifts the matchup. Before, you were able to survive a little bit like longer with that Pokemon, but like now it's just like impossible. So yeah, like we kind of want to swap out now against the Dragonair, because otherwise we're going to struggle a little bit later on. But yeah, definitely the Awkward Tail buff going to help Dragonair quite a bit against the Bastion matchup. Like, this matchup completely shifted for me. But here we're also going to see something very interesting. something very lucky for me. We will see the Leaf Blade coming through, but are also going to still be able to reach another one here in time. This is like a very weird inconsistency in the game right now, where sometimes you're able to do this, sometimes you're not able to do this. And so this is going to be great for us, because now Bastion is going to be in a really great spot to now sweep this game, hopefully, as the opponent gonna go into the Charger bug. It is still going to be actually a little bit tricky, because we are very low on HP. And so, yeah, the Exeter coming through is going to do some decent damage. I can still go for another charge move here. I don't know why they went for Exeter though, because if they went for discharge, I most likely would have been now already in farm down range. But they decided to go for another charge move, which should be another Exeter as well. Here, let's see. It is, and now we have to swap out and hope that Victreebel is still going to be enough to knock them out. We are going to chunk their health quite a bit. Let's see if we can still survive a move. We can, and so we can easily win this game. But still, was a little bit closer than I wanted to, and very lucky that we got the Leaf Blade off. So, next opponent. Here we can basically see it directly what I mean as well. This matchup is so much worse now, like literally so much worse. And I would recommend you to play it out a little bit differently. I would not use a shield here in hindsight. I would not really recommend you to do this. Yeah, I want basically to play this one out just with my Bastion, which is something that you can try to do, of course, but like I don't really recommend it to you. What I would recommend you to do is let the first move go through, and then just go ahead and go for one Stone Edge, get the shield advantage, and then swap out. Because it's still going to get some damage onto them. Leaf Blade is still going to be able to knock them out from that range then. And now look at this, like I basically lost one charge move now, which I would have not lost before, before the Aqua Tail buff. So like this is completely changing it all up. And if I also swapped out of here, I would have most likely get out the Skarmory early, which would have been great for me. And so I completely misplayed this. Here I needed to kind of go for the bait, because I have to hit basically 2 close combats in order to knock them out. Did not work out, and now of course they shield the second one, and I still would be able to go for a Leaf Blade. So if I went for a Leaf Blade and then for a close combat, I most likely would have won this game. But let's move on to the second to last one for today. We're going to encounter a pretty bad lead for us, and we're going to encounter a pretty okay say swap for us. And here's the thing as well, where Gallade is just shining so bright. We will be able to go for a Leaf Blade, you know, and we're just going to outspeed the opponent like crazy. The coverage of Leaf Blade on this Pokemon is just so insane. Like this Jellicent, look at this, we're just gonna go for one first move, one charge move all the time, and we're just going to do so much damage against them as well. And also, it is a Ghost type, but we can still actually force realignment thanks to the opponent going for a charge move here. I think they might have been able to farm us down. Would have been close one, maybe I would have survived with 1 HP, but we can just go for the Leaf Blade and knock them out. And so the Lantern is now going to have to face our Victreebel, and we see how important this is, because here the opponent is swapping out into the Talonflame, and there's nothing they can do anymore. We completely basically flipped the entire matchup just because the opponent also weirdly went ahead and went into their water type into my Gallade instead of the Talonflame, but I guess they maybe expect something like the Medicham instead. Could have been the case, but yeah, definitely an interesting play there from the opponent. But now we're going to have a Lantern here against our Bastion, which has a lot of energy. Their only play is basically to farm me all the way down and then go for a Thunderbolt and a Surf, but this does not work out because we have A, too much health, and B, we do more damage than the opponent, so we can just move on to the final battle of today. And again, we're going to encounter a Pokemon that is a weakness for this team. And it's going to be the Sandslash, especially as the Shadow Claw version. Because also, especially as the non-Shadow version. Because non-Shadow version is going to be able to have a better matchup against our Shadow Victreebel. Because we don't do as much damage with our fast move. And here, we're going to see our swap out into the Gallade. Gallade is going to be able to use a shield. But it's not really going to be a great matchup either. Let's see what is coming in. It's going to be the Altaria. And look at this. Like, honestly, Gallade is just so crazy. No matter what is swapping in. Close combat, boom, going to two-shot them against an Altaria. But the opponent makes a huge mistake here by using a shield. Because now we actually have a lot of play. Because we still have our own shield for the Victreebel. We're still going to be able to double resist, or like actually only single resist this move here, but we can just go for the full farm round and get up to a Flamethrower. Let's see what they have in the back. It's going to be a Whiscash, and we can swap out immediately, and we are forced to let this move go through. If we would like shield this move up, the opponent still would have the Ice Punch later on, which we cannot really allow onto our Victreebel. As you can see here, the Ice Punch is coming through, but I can just go for the charge move, and no matter what is happening next, I win this game. Because even if they're gonna get to an Ice Punch, it doesn't matter, because I still have a moveset on my Bastion, but like this, Victreebel is going to be able to sweep the game. Victreebel is honestly so good in the current meta. This team was actually a lot of fun to play, so definitely try it out if you want to be a little bit toxic. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.